today, the Democrats on the House committee investigating the Epstein matter put out a bunch of photos from the Epstein estate. Some of them are the most run-of-the-mill things you've ever seen. Some of them are quite provocative. Trump-branded condoms, for instance, was in there. Some are Democrats, some are Republicans. There's some pictures of Larry Summers. There's no photo that's like explicitly incriminating, and they did not release any context. Where did these photos come from? When were they taken? Were they attached emails? Totally unclear. But the ones that are getting the most attention involve pictures of former presidents and current president of the United States. So here we go. This is number 29. There you see a picture. That's Bill Clinton, Maxwell, and Epstein. We don't know who the woman to Bill Clinton's right is, but I'm told that's Jimmy Buffett.
That's his wife, Jane.
And that's Jane Buffett. Thank you for that. So there's that. Again, undated. Now, Bill Clinton used Jeffrey Epstein's plane on a few occasions. We don't know where this was taken, but there's nothing incriminating about the photo. And we all know Jimmy Buffett wouldn't do anything wrong. So I don't know why they released that one. Now, here's one of President Trump. I read somewhere that this is not a new photo, that this one had been released before. There's others of President Trump with young women whose faces are obscured to protect their identities. And everybody's trying to kind of understand why they picked these to release with no context. It's a little weird. The White House is, of all the people pictured, and there's Woody Allen, there's Steve Bannon, there's Bill Gates. Of all the people, so far I've seen in press accounts, no reaction from anybody except the White House, which criticized Democrats for what they called misleading and cherry-picked redactions. So this is just the start, ladies and gentlemen. There are going to be photos and documents and grand jury testimony, transcript. There's going to be, you spend your holidays reading Epstein documents and looking at photos because there's like tens of thousands of these. President Trump was asked about this in the Oval Office a little while ago. Here's what he said.
There were new Epstein photos released today showing you and also Bill Clinton, Steve Bannon. What were your reaction to those new photos that were released
Well,
today?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, everybody knew this man. He was all over Palm Beach. He has photos with everybody. I mean, almost, there are hundreds and hundreds of people that have photos with him. So that's no big deal. I know nothing about it.
Okay. Gentlemen, Joel, start with you. Is this Epstein matter a matter, from your point of view, of concern to the American people or not?
Well, I think it should be a matter of concern, and I'm disappointed in the way both political parties, including the president, have handled this. American people want transparency, they want justice, but what we have right now is just a lot of sensationalization. We saw this from President Trump prior to his reelection. We see this right now with many of the leading Democrats. But the bottom line is that there was an institutional failure for years leading up to the incarceration and ultimately the suicide of Epstein. There were regulators, prosecutors, even the media that were turning a blind eye to the stories that were coming out of his lifestyle. How is it that now, years later, the only two people that are really that have seen any repercussions from this illegal activity were Epstein himself and, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell? There were a lot of other parties potentially involved here. And what we've seen over the past year, initially with the new Trump administration releasing the binders that turns out it contained really nothing new and a lot of redacted information. And now some in Congress that are trying to sensationalize yet another release of redacted information. This isn't getting to the core of the problem. And that's that there was institutional failure, and there's still a big mystery to be solved and crimes that have not yet been paid for.
Andrew, what's your biggest unanswered question about the Epstein matter?
Why is it that the Democrats have to be the one releasing these? I mean, President Trump campaigned on releasing these files, and yet he hasn't. I mean, here, Democrats are trying to push for transparency. They're clearly not covering anything up if they're releasing photographs of Democratic officials. So why is it that the Trump administration continues to stall, continues to obfuscate about what's in the files? And what are they even having to redact, right? You're having to redact this for criminal reasons or national security reasons. Like, what is it that they're trying to hide? I mean, this is really just a matter of putting the files out. I mean, you're a journalist. You guys are fantastic at going through documents, and many of y'all are lawyers. So document review is right in your wheelhouse. And it would be much better if this was just all made publicly available so that everybody could go through and understand what the full scope of this was. And it's just mind-boggling to me that we continue to have this drama when it could just be done.
Well said by both of you. Let me ask you one more Maxwell question, Maxwell question, then we'll move to another topic. She was moved from a prison in Florida to a cushier prison in Texas, which is not normally the home to people who committed the kind of crimes for which she was convicted. Why do you think she was moved, Andrew?
I mean, I think sometimes the obvious answer is the right answer. I don't want to speculate, but I will say that it certainly wasn't a poor person or a person who was incarcerated for reasons that are empathetic, that was getting this sort of treatment. And I think this also speaks to the fact that it feels like there's two classes of justice in this country, and Maxwell is getting a preferred class of justice.
Joel, do you have a theory about why she was moved?
Well, there's certainly the appearance of a two-track justice system, one for the elites and those that are well-connected and wealthy, and then others who are treated differently. I want to give the justice system the benefit of the doubt. And that would be that if she were left in a typical facility for those crimes, she might be at risk of violence, perhaps dangerous violence from other inmates. She is a celebrity, albeit notorious, and perhaps she was moved for her safety. That's what I want to believe, but it has the appearance otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. The picture we saw of the president before is him with a Belgian model. And again, I say, I don't really understand the Democrats' choices here, because we've seen videos and images of President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein together with attractive women in social settings. That's not new. So to put that photo out with no context is a little confusing. Cozy Earth, still available to you, 40% off, but act tonight. Trust me, I can't tell you when it's ending, but act tonight. 40% off everything on the Cozy Earth website. Those are the sheets, the bubble cuddle blanket, the towels. You'll never use another towel again. You may travel with these towels over winter break and say the hotel towels, well, they're not good enough. And then, of course, the t-shirts. And then, of course, the pants. All available to you now at extraordinary 40% off. Go to CozyEarth.com. Buy something for everyone on your list, as well as some stuff for yourself. It's not effortless to buy pants for others, but you can. And, of course, if they don't fit, you'll send it back. Cozy Earth is giving the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holidays and carries into a cozy new year. 40% off everything on the site. If you're listening now, you have time to give the gift of luxury this holiday season. CozyEarth.com. The promo code is two-way for an extraordinary 40% off everything that you purchase. Thank you for your attention to that matter. They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America. And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and two-way tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.